How about a cap trick? How about a Dallas Cowboys cap trick? And let's get this Dak Prescott thing done, shall we? Mike Fisher, reporting from North Texas. We're mobile today. We're going to borrow a couple of ideas. We're going to apply a couple of our own. We're going to throw them all in a big pot, and we're going to mix them up, and we're going to get this Dak thing done. Tuesday's deadline looms. So, is there a way to find a win-win here? A win-win available to a Dallas Cowboys team that seems to like Dak, but we're going to make the argument maybe doesn't love him? A win-win that allows the quarterback his desired quick additional bite of the contractual apple, and it all comes in cap-friendly. Let's see if we can figure this out. Get out your number 2 pencils. There will be a quiz at the end. No, not really. So here comes the deadline. Tuesday. This figures to be a busy few days here. On the phone for sure. Hopefully in person. Let's go through the puzzle pieces about an idea that we're cooking up. 3-year contract. 2 voidable years, dummy years, tacked on to the end. All of which will make Dak Prescott the second highest paid player in NFL history by a certain measure. A lot of wins in there. Let's go through the puzzle pieces. I've said this often, and I don't know that players always understand this. I don't think the media and the public always understands this. The tag does not have to be a weapon. It can simply be a tool. There is no punishment for getting tagged. If Dak Prescott gets tagged as last year and then this year, that's 31 plus 38. That's $69 million in 2 years. It's not really a punishment. It's a tool, and it can be a placeholder. And that's what's coming up Tuesday, obviously, March 9th. That's happening right now with Justin Simmons, the Denver safety, who's a Todd France client. And we can have some fun kind of speculating and theorizing. Did they go ahead and just tag him on a Friday, even though it's not Tuesday yet, because they know where they're going and they're not worried? Or did they do it because Todd France said, man, Justin, I'm awfully busy. I'm going to be really busy with Dak this weekend. Why don't we just go ahead and let's just say yes to this tag right now, and Broncos will worry about this later. I don't think the Broncos have the same sort of cap clog problem that Dallas has. So we'll handle him later. Tag him. We'll get to him. Let's get to Dak now. Those involved parties in Denver, by the way, talk very openly about wanting a long-term thing for Simmons. They talk about that here too. But the tag, as it sits right now with Dallas and the cap, and I keep using the figure $14, $15 million. Other people have said $19 million with the room. Whatever, not enough. That total, 37.7, would eat up, even if it's a placeholder, would eat up too much room. And make it so the Cowboys would not be allowed to do much other business. So that's one puzzle piece. Next puzzle piece. Dak last year wanted a shorter term deal, as you'll recall. 4 years was his desire. The logic was, I want another bite of that contractual apple, another crack at free agency shortly after the NFL gets its new TV deal, which is going to cause the cap and stars' new contracts to skyrocket. So that's a puzzle piece. Dallas's logic at the time, they desire for a longer, 5-year, as we reported at the time, contract. But what if, as time has passed, what if Dallas's strategy has changed? What if they've allowed it to change? What if there's some ceiling? There's just a ceiling on what they think Dak is worth right now, and that's that. And maybe a ceiling on what they think of him as a player. Now, this is a concept that Brian Broaddus, my colleague at 105.3 The Fan, brings up quite a bit. The idea that the Cowboys like Dak but don't love him. Maybe. It's a heck of a theory, and as you're trying to figure out why we're doing this now for the third straight off season, it's as good a theory as any. Because maybe because they like him, but they don't love him. Assume that that's the case for the sake of this exercise. In that scenario, maybe the Cowboys aren't comfortable going 40 million APY and then raises or whatever times forever commitment. 40 million a year times forever. Maybe they don't want to do that. That Patrick Mahomes 10-year deal, which is an extension, so it's really a 12-year deal. I mean, on paper. Maybe the Cowboys are like, we're not sure that we want to do this for that long, or anything close to that anymore. So what if Cowboy for life isn't really on the front burner right now? What if it's Cowboy for 3 years while we use some of this time to draft your heir, to find your replacement? No offense. You're going to get $120 million over the course of 3 years. I'll explain, by the way, in a minute why it's essentially guaranteed. You're going to get 40 times 3, 120, essentially fully guaranteed. No hard feelings. We can revisit this next year, and we can revisit it continually up until the time when your contract expires. Maybe 2 years from now. So you know what? We love you. We liked you then. We love you now. Maybe you'll have won a Super Bowl, and it'll be the most natural thing in the world then to go back to you and say, man, oh man, here's some more money. Let's do it again. But right now, what if Cowboy for life isn't the idea? Cowboy for 3 years is the idea. So the Cowboys get the quarterback that they like, but they're not married to him forever because, again, 3 off seasons of foot dragging do suggest that maybe it's not love, that Brian Broaddus concept, and then the two parties have a 3-year bond, which I'm quite sure would be attractive to DAK. The years would obviously be attractive to DAK, and if you want to be paid second only to Mahomes, well, 40 gets that done. There's one more key element here. It's a compromise, except DAK doesn't really even need to say yes to it because it's just an accounting instrument. Tack on to the actual 3-year deal 2 voidable years. Voidable years are dummy years. They're not real. There's no real money. There's no real commitment. There's no real, you're going to be here. Voidable. Dallas does this commonly. They'll soon be doing it again with restructures of guys like DeMarcus Lawrence and Amari Cooper. They'll add a year or whatever. Not because Tank Lawrence is really going to be playing here when he's 36 or whatever. It's just a math trick. And they're going to do that to make DAK fit, by the way. So heads up for that. Heads up for Tank and Amari. And those voidable years don't in any way count against DAK. What does count? The way Dallas can take the total value, say it's 3 years and 120 million, and for cap purposes, spread the impact, especially of the signing bonus, over 5 years. Hat tip to Joey Ikes and hat tip to Todd Archer, who have touched on these concepts and given us guidance here. 5 years is the maximum length that can be used to spread out a signing bonus. So that's why it's the 3 real ones and then the 2 dummies. This won't be all that painful if by 2025 DAK is gone while Dallas is still paying the cap. Or at least won't be as painful as it would be to face a $40 million cap charge right now. Because that's what you're looking at if you just do a 3-year deal. 3 years times 40 equals 120. And if it's just 3 years, it's 40, 40, and 40, and that's how it's going to hit you. And you can't afford that, cap-wise, and still build a team. So you use dummy years. The apparent value would be gigantic, but the real money would still be 3 years and 120 million. And one more thing for DAK, because of the voidable years, There's going to be the big signing bonus. It's going to be spread out. This contract would effectively be guaranteed. Wouldn't be guaranteed in writing, but it would be guaranteed as a practical matter. That's pretty attractive. That's not disrespecting Dak Prescott, is it? 40, 40, 40, fully guaranteed, and then you can go. Or we can talk later about you staying. 40, 40, 40, fully guaranteed. Making you the second highest paid quarterback in football, making you the second highest paid player in football, making you the second highest paid player behind Patrick Mahomes in the history of football. Don't bring your disrespect talk in here anymore. We all get what we want. The Cowboys and Dak could be saying to themselves with this concept. And then they all get to thump their chest and say they won. Todd France gets to claim a victory because it'll look like one of the biggest deals in NFL history, and it will be. Dak gets to claim a victory because he'll be second only to Mahomes. And he gets to stay in Dallas, which he does want. And he gets to anticipate another huge contract in Dallas or elsewhere. He gets it all. France gets it all. And the Cowboys achieve their desired goal. They get Dak. And they've cemented a deal. But if they like him but don't love him, 3 years from now, they can chip their way out of the cement. There is the 3-year plus 2, it'll look like a 5-year deal idea. There's the money. There's the wins. Clock is ticking. Fish out.